We are very excited to welcome our fourth mentor of the morning. We have Lori Hare, who is a plumber by trade. And I'll just give Lori a minute to get herself unmuted and her video playing. There she is. Hi, Lori. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I love doing this.
That's great. And you said you've done this sort of thing before, so it's great that you're such an inspiration and share your story with youth. And we hope to inspire some youth today with our trades event. So thank you again for joining. Why don't you start by
Absolutely.
telling the students a little bit about yourself, what it is you do, and in terms of plumbing, what that actually means from a day-to-day sort of job.
Okay. So how I got into this career of plumbing, I'm now a fourth block apprentice. So I'm just one Red Seal exam away from being a Red Seal. So I've completed all my educational blocks, and I've done all my hours. So you have to put in 7,600 hours. It was 8,000. It was 8,000, but now they fast tracking. Um, and I find this career very awesome and rewarding. Every day is different, so you're never doing the same thing, and you're in different places, and you're getting to meet different people. Networking is key to any trade. Um, my day to day is usually we get a coffee. I'm not going to lie. Then we look over what we're going to do for the day. So we decide what material and what tools and equipment we're going to need. So we must have that before we go to the homeowner's place or residential, whether it be commercial site or whatnot. I've worked commercial as well. Which is there's a big difference in commercial and residential. Residential is very fast paced, and commercial is a lot slower, but it's on a grander scale. So you're working with bigger size pipes and safety precaution things that are a key necessity. Um,
Did you always think that you would be a plumber, or is this something that you sort of turned to later after other experiences?
well, I've done many different things from planting trees, silviculturing, working in a kitchen, call centers. No, it was absolutely not something I had ever intended to do. I just sort of happened to fall into it I was doing some property management, and we needed to do some renovations on one of the apartment units, and I was the only one that could fit into the walls to side of the pipe. So I was very happy about that because normally I'm the hold the flashlight or get that tool. I wasn't any part of the actual action. So I was inspired by that and learning all about the plumbing at that time because I do have some history with carpentry as my grandfather, Clarence Starr, was a carpenter down in Sheet Harbour. Um, so I did have a little bit of hands-on with tools and things like that. So plumbing was a new aspect that I've never gotten to touch. So it was something that sparked my interest that I got to play with water, dirt, and power tools. I'm all in. So I figured out a way how to get into plumbing.
That's so cool. So what education did you need to get? You said you're one exam away from a Red Seal. So what have you done to get that trade?
Well, you need a grade 12 education. And then I applied for a 1 year plumbing course at NSCC Marconi. So I went to school every day. I never missed a day. And you're going through modules, books once a week. So you're flying through the classes going, if you're not doing after school studying and you need to at least keep an 80 average and above to even be considered, you know, to pass your red seal, because apparently it's really hard. But each week we would have an exam. And so for the whole year, you're passing your exams. If you didn't pass your exam, you would not continue. And then I got out and I started working. I did some new houses up in Member 2 to start off with my apprenticeship. And then once I gained so many hours, which you're supposed to have so many before you can apply for your second block. So I went back to school for my second block once I got my hours for about 6 to 8 weeks. And then I go back out into the workforce and work some more hours until I can get back and register for my third block, which was another 6 to 8 weeks of training. And again, if you're not passing the exams weekly, you don't get continue. So it was very vigorous studying, a lot of studying, because you're touching on a lot of subjects like electrical, because we do our own boiler and dishwasher installs. You're doing gas because you have to recognize what gas lines to not be working around. Actually, you can get into medical gas where you're installing pipelines in the hospital. There's going to be a new addition to our Cape Breton Hospital where that specialty plumbing is going to be required, and that you make a lot of money doing that specialty plumbing. And of course, once you're done your fourth block, you come out and do some more hours, and you can write your red seal, and then you're certainly qualified to tackle anything. But I would have to say, been in the industry for a while, that everyone sort of has their own different red seal. That not all red seals are the same, because I do a lot of renovations in new homes. I'm not really doing a whole lot of service work, and there's other people that are doing a lot of service work
Okay, I
directly in
understand.
the new homes. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you enjoy most about the job?
Getting to see the people's reactions of their making their dream bathroom or kitchen come true, getting to play with the dirt and water and power tools, and just being able to be in the atmosphere a lot. And the physical, it's very physically demanding, so I like that aspect that you're keeping in great shape as well. So I like all of it actually.
That's great. So, can you explain to the students, are you independent? Do you work as a consultant, or do you work for a specific company?
I've done many things. I've worked for small companies. I've worked for big companies, commercial size companies, working on commercial sites. And during this year with the COVID, all commercial sites were kind of slowed down. So right now, even though I'm not with the company, I've been making a lot of cash jobs this year. I work with a Red Seal, so um, we've been working all year doing things, even though the COVID has been in place now. Springtime, where I'm unionized, we'll all go back to being on the commercial sites once they all open up, because there's a lot of things being built up here in Sydney. The new Marconi campus down at the waterfront has 3 buildings and a pedway, and CBU has purchased land that's going to build residential housing and units for their students, and then the cancer unit for the hospital, and the fire. There's a lot of commercial sites coming up that will keep us steady going for the next 5 years, I'd say.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So even though you're not working with a particular company or anything, on your own, you can still make and earn cash once you're more qualified. I wouldn't say first block or second block you're going to be able to go do service calls or things like that. You have to be working with a qualified Red Seal.
Thank you. And can you, in talking about that, can you talk about what the pay scale is for starting out as a plumber?
Well, it varies. It If you're unionized, it starts out very well. Like you could be talking 18 plus dollars an hour. But when you're finally unionized or finally red seal, sorry, you could be making anywhere from 50, 55, $65. Yeah, I've been on job sites myself where I've made up to $100 cash an hour on site. So it depends on what your skills are and who you have working with you, and what you can tackle.
Thank you. And would you say for in Nova Scotia, is there a lot of demand right now for people to go into the plumbing trade?
I would say plumbing is always the high demand, because we all have plumbing in our houses and we use plumbing daily in order, like for this COVID. If you didn't have a plumber, you wouldn't be able to wash your hands. So there's always high demand, and you can always find jobs anywhere, like even small jobs. So it's as long as you're willing to put the effort in, you can always keep busy.
That's great. What advice would you have for your 16-year-old self who is looking forward to your future?
Keep an open mind, keep positive, and have thick skin, and keep persevering, because you're going to meet challenges and people that will make you second guess yourself. But don't allow that to be a hold back. Be allow that to be a positive and learn from it.
That's great. That's great advice. And I have one more question that I have, and then we're going to give it over to the students and the teachers. Lori, when you met those challenges, what was it that inspired you to keep going when you had, the modules were
All the
difficult
people
and
that didn't think I could do it. I have to show them that I certainly can, and I don't want to let myself down. I have a lot of time and effort, and I've had to change my entire life. There's a lot of sacrifices that you have to do when you're in school, So I've put a lot of time and effort into myself, and I can't see myself fail. I just won't.
that's wonderful. That's fantastic advice. We're just going to see if there's any questions. I just spelt that wrong on the chat because I wasn't looking at the keyboard. And it does take a second for those to relay through the teachers. Is there anything else that you want to share that we haven't touched on?
I just feel like I found my true passion. So I would hope that anyone that wants to inspire to go into any trade, because they're all very awesome trades. You get to work with your hands, you get to meet different people. You're not, I just feel like you can be out and about more in a trade.
Absolutely. And that's the continuing theme that we're hearing today from all of the mentors that have spoken so far, is just the opportunities in Nova Scotia for trade, and that there are transferable skills and you can use those trade skills in so many ways, regardless of the career path that you choose. We'll just wait one more minute to see if there's any questions, any further questions. And when you talk about, I do have a question actually, when you talk about going into people's homes specifically in COVID times, how challenging or difficult has that made your job?
Um, there was only one real time that we had a setback when we were doing a duplex, and we had to do an inspection. Like a plumber has a certified inspection guy has to come in. He wanted the entire site empty, so that was the only time that I ran into any type of COVID difficulties. Most people are just generally are not there when we are coming in, or they're in a different part of their house. So it's usually just me and my Red Seal work together. And when we're in stores and stuff, we wear a mask. And as a plumber, we're always washing our hands. So we've always had that basic instinct to
That hasn't
not
changed
touch
for
your
you.
face after a job.
That's a good point. Okay, well, Lori, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. And as I'd mentioned before, our mentors are doing double presentations this morning. So thank you so much for that commitment to junior achievement. We certainly appreciate your time.
I
And
was with a junior achiever, so it's nice to give back again.
fantastic. We love our junior achievement alumni. Um, and
Absolutely.
And if there's any follow-up questions afterward, I'll be in touch and hopefully you will give those some consideration. But I want to thank you
Absolutely.
and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And
And Merry
good,
Christmas, everyone.
and good luck with your Red Seal.
Thank you. I'll be needing it.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.